model of interaction between the material body and information field. This diagram, it's in the article, I'll try to acknowledge that one. This diagram illustrates the effect of frequencies, putting them into a meaningful context of physics, biology and information field theory. In its symmetrical structure, matter and information space are mirror images of each other. They are connected by the mirror axis of the quantum process, through which the exchange between matter and the information field takes place. Quantum processes are non-deterministic physical random processes. As an alternative to the combination of deterministic natural laws and random processes, they permit information flow from the information field towards the matter. Using all acausal and non-local effects, quantum processes connect remote spatial areas. The matter is represented by the molecular body and electromagnetic fields. The electromagnetic body consists of electrical levels of the cell and tissue, and the electromagnetic interactions, fields and radiation. These extend to the ultra-weak cell radiation, the so-called biophotons. If a reduction of the wave function takes place on the quantum level of these electromagnetic processes, all quantum entanglements associated with it, even in a generalized form, and related to the respective processes, flow into it. Therefore, the diagram indicates the level of quantum processes and the area of locally, not locally, effective quantum entanglements, in which the hidden relationships of the fragmented material reality are contained. The material reality is a classical approximation attained by neglecting quantum physical phase relationships and aspects of wholeness. Thus, individual objects come to the fore of consciousness. The lost wholeness and relationships reappear as quantum entanglements. The sum total of the information contained in a person's quantum entanglements, both internal and external, is what in this paper is defined as his or her individual information field. That component related to the body is the person's bioenergetic field. It connects the body with the mind and soul, and therefore may be regarded as the essence of life. Mind and soul in this context refer to the conscious mind and unconscious soul aspects of the human psyche. together forming the wholeness of internal experiences and reality. In this way, the information field is not an additional ontological field, but the necessary complement to the classical approach to objects existing separately from each other. It is not a speculative addition to reality, but the necessary complement to the classical approximation of reality through hidden quantum entanglements. However, such a classical approximation has to be assumed in each model, because in quantum physics, a part of reality has to be described classically in order to obtain measurable results. And this needs a comment. If it's done quantum physically, no results will come. The reason for that is nothing is entangled in the quantum state. Entanglement turns up once we break the symmetry. The information field, consisting of the sum of the hidden generalized and strong quantum entanglements, can be divided into three areas. The global information field refers to the entire universe and the relationships of its individual subsystems and the living beings to each other. 2. Individual information field contains the information of all quantum entanglements related to an individual living being. Within the individual information field, there are three areas relating to the trinity of a body. Of A, body, B, mind, which is conscious, and C, soul, unconscious. Three, the bioenergetic field is the area of the information field related to the body and connects body, mind, and soul. The information field controls frequency applications of the proposed bioelectric process emanate in both directions from the middle of the diagram. The process is shown in the middle because the physical noise generator, REG or quantum sensor, in the center of such a process determines the current application frequency on the basis of physical quantum processes. This frequency is then modulated on the microcurrent. The low microcurrent frequencies up to 130 Hz act at the level of cell electricity and are intended to increase the cell membrane potential and thus the cell energy. Higher frequencies mainly harmonize the bioenergetic field in a sequence selected by the information field, supporting the wholeness of the body mind and soul, which is coherence. As claimed by Miller, the coherence of the information field of the cell is closely related to the integrity and properties of the cell membrane. An example is the cell membrane potential. The cellular boundary delimits the informational field, shielding it from some distortions or deformations caused by external environmental variables and adjacent cellular field effects. The cell membrane creates the environment in which the integrity of the information field can be protected and coherently projected. Again, this component of the information field is called the bioenergetic field of the cell. The importance of frequencies in the quantum nature of life is expressed by Miller. Life has been pictured in that frame as a far from equilibrium coherent photon field in a range of frequencies. The differing components of the organism, each with their unique characteristics, nevertheless synchronize together through quantum coherent fields. Frequencies can thus be described as a language by which the global and individual information fields communicate with the electromagnetic and bioenergetic field of the body. Miller supports this concept theoretically by relating energy transfer and information to frequency and amplitude. However, as energy transfer is an oscillating function of frequency and amplitude, there must be zones of coherence or decoherence that occur across gradients within any boundary condition. Further, Miller identifies energy transfer with information and the boundary of the cell or the cell membrane as the resonance space which transforms energy into information and vice versa. Quote here, since information is an energy transfer, information becomes a gradient function subject to harmonics and resonances that initiates or promotes a spectrum of awareness of status. Therefore, each cellular unit is coherent and discrete cognitive entity in which information becomes another form of resonant energy, both within and without the cell. Energy becomes information within the bounded resonating chamber of the cell, achieving the coherence necessary to become information to both sender and receiver. The dynamic mutual transfer of energy and information as an essential life process, is subject to frequencies, harmonics, and resonances. These frequencies, generated by quantum processes within the bioenergetic process, connect the global information field to the bioenergetic field of the cell and the body to unite body, mind, and soul by generalized quantum entanglement. In this process, each cell is a cognitive unit with its own information field, communicating through electromagnetic frequencies with its environment, other cells, and the underlying information field. In this model, frequencies take on a similar function to that of bioenergetic processes, which in traditional cultures are called life energy, chi, or prana. They convey the influence of the three information fields to the body and makes that influence perceptible. Coherent frequency patterns as an informational basis of life. The fundamental effect of frequencies as an informational basis of life has been suggested by a series of research papers by Gesink and Meyer. Through the analysis of more than 500 studies on the effects of frequencies of living systems, the authors found a scale invariant pattern of frequencies in the range from 0.1 Hz to beyond 500 terahertz that affects living systems in a positive way by promoting their degree of coherence. The same pattern of coherence promoting frequencies is found in the infrared spectrum of pure water and of clay, which according to the authors may serve as replicators of an underlying frequency pattern of the quantum vacuum. The authors express their view in the abstract of a paper published in 2020. Hello? Till adonde? Okay. Okay. Ciao, ciao. Yeah.